Good morning, Sunday morning, and I just finished a journal after a long rest. Well, I wouldn't call it a rest. I've been really busy at work, so I haven't had a lot of time. But I've been kind of playing with this in my head for a while. And this is a really pretty worn cover of a book. I added some antique, this is from an antique petticoat, beautiful lace border here, and antique lace and a mother of pearl slide for the closure. You can just slide it on and off, and the nice thing is these can adjust really easily if you want to use them, add things to your journal. So this one I used a lot of original antique papers, most of which were from other books where I've used the covers and removed the papers. I love to repurpose the papers. I sometimes use them on the backs of journal cards, sometimes for backgrounds. But in these cases, the entire pages were so pretty that I just didn't want to cut them apart. And this paper actually is from this original book. These were the end papers in the book. So I just repurposed them and glued them onto the cover. I just thought the colors are gorgeous and vibrant, and I didn't want to even cover it up with a pocket or anything. It's just too pretty. So this page is from an antique book. You see this in some of the very old books, and it actually still has the inscription to Vera Blanche from her mother, June 25th, 1921. And I made a little tuck spot here with a picture. And in my mind, maybe this is her mother that she kind of tucked in here. So that goes there. On the back of that, so on this actually is a file folder. So I glued this paper to the file folder because some of these antique papers are a little flimsy and I didn't want it to fall apart. So this way it won't fall apart. I think I need to glue this down better. Okay. And on the back side of this file folder, I glued this remnant from an antique book of music, Love Hath Not Departed. I just thought that was really pretty. Here's one of my vintage ladies. She's just slightly glued on the edge here, so you could tuck something in here and use her for a tuck spot. I copied her from an antique photo, and then I glued her to fabric, so you don't have to worry about her falling apart or bending. That's the nice thing about the fabric, is that they don't get the bends like the cardstock does. And underneath there's just a piece of antique lace remnant from something or other that I had. It will fall apart if you push on it too much. So I glued it down. For the most part, it'll be fine. And it's a little frayed, and I like the way that looks. So I just glued it down on the bottom for a little border and just a little something. There's a lot of blank paper in here. These are coffee dye papers from GT Designs on Etsy. I love her papers. I buy them from her frequently. She does them on doilies. She has all kinds of different looks on her pages. So I just love the different papers I get from her, and I need to order more shortly. So this is another piece of an antique lace petticoat, and I glued this lady inside, so she's attached to the pocket. And then in the pocket, I slipped another lady who is surrounded by flowers, and I just thought the flowers made a pretty background in the pocket. And it's a nice surprise when you pull it out and find the lady there. Great papers. This is from an antique photo shop. Standard drugstores. So somebody got their photos processed And this is the remnants of the envelope. So this I made into a pocket, glued it to a piece of paper, added this little sweet girl from a photograph, and inside I slipped just a book page with this beautiful piece of, I think this was from a handkerchief, and a little bit of trim and a little decoupage on the back. So you could slip something in the pocket and slip it inside here. You know, just slides right in. Slides in better when I'm not filming it. Just a little that peeks out so that you can enjoy the beauty of that old handkerchief. More of these beautiful coffee dye papers. Like I said, there's plenty of paper to write on. This is another antique book page with another lady who's, most of the ladies are on fabric. So she's kind of 3D. She's not glued down completely. And this is the other side of the file folder, and I added some antique lace to the tab there. And another paper from an antique book that I glued down to the file folder. And actually, this is sewn to a hidden spine and then glued onto the spine here. This is another file folder here. And isn't this beautiful? This was in the front of a music book, which is actually, I think, where I got the music paper. I just love the colors in it. I love everything about it. I made that into a pocket as well because this paper was pretty sturdy. And I just tucked in an old page from a magazine. Look at the styles, aren't they beautiful? And I loved all the colors. More coats on the back as we're getting into winter. I wish they had those coats out again. That just tucks in. This is another antique book page, Phlox. Beautiful colors. And this is my Aunt Elsie. I cut her out, glued her to fabric, and I just tucked her in this little pocket that I made. She's got her little dog with her, and she's glued to another book page from, no, I don't think it's from this book. I think it's from another book. I have a lot of book pages. Oh yeah, it's the back of this page here. This lady, isn't she awesome? I just love her. She's got a little attitude. Somebody sent me this in the mail, and I think this was anonymous, but it was embossed, so I just put some ink over it to kind of highlight the embossing on it, and I just thought it made a great pocket. And then here is my dear friend Colleen Brady. This is some paper that she eco-dyed for me, and I used that for this beautiful lady with her flowers on her hair and flowers on the border of her dress. And this is, I believe, it's either French or Spanish. I don't know if you can read it. It just has somebody's signature on it. It says autograph of Sir J.V. Miller. But I don't know how to read the rest of it. And these beautiful eco dye papers are from Pam Cass, and every time she makes some fresh batches, I'm all over it because I love having a stash of her papers. Look at the vibrant colors. I just love the papers that she makes. Look at that leaf. Look how you can see it, the imprint of it. And more G&T Designs papers. Look at, I just love what she does with her papers. I have you on my list to buy some more. Here's one of my ladies. I did a little bit different on her dress than I normally do, but I used antique lace, some antique silk that I just made into little florets, And this is some antique netting that I made for the bodice. So it's almost like I get to play dolls again here. And she's just glued down. She's not even a pocket. She just glued down. Some more great papers from Renee. These ladies, so I made a little tuck spot here with a piece of cardstock, and I decoupaged a napkin over the top and kind of punched a little border there, and I tucked in, I love these ladies, having tea, older ladies, in the garden under the trellis. It's just beautiful. And then underneath them I tucked kind of a younger version of the ladies getting together, and it looks like they're standing in the flowers, and I just made a little tuck spot for them underneath with a little more decoupage. I also did a little bit of stamping, just enough to give it a little more oomph. So they just tuck underneath there, and kind of a little surprise when you flip them down and see the faces. It almost looks like an extension otherwise. I had fun with that piece. Can you tell? More of Pam's beautiful papers and Colleen's. I just love the texture that these end up with. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Couple of ladies here dressed up on the back of another book page. This lady I cut off, I copied her off of a postcard, and I cut her out, and then I glued her to this piece of copy of the Vintage Music in the Garden. And then I tucked in red clover, Alside clover, and Timothy. There's some, actually still some seeds in here, so I thought that was really fun. And then this is the other side of the file folder, and I added a piece of antique petticoat again. This is I folded it over and I stamped this little girl on here, and then on the other side you can see the embroidered lace on the petticoat. So this is more Pam's paper, and then this is another page from an antique book. It wasn't filled out, it was blank, and I just thought that this lady, she's on fabric also. I just thought she looked beautiful on there. And I liked the colors on this book page. This is from an antique magazine, September 1902. I just thought these colors all look beautiful together. And these ladies are just gorgeous. Look at that waist. That must have been so uncomfortable. A couple more ladies. And then these pages are lined papers that I found and coffee dyed myself. And I thought that they'd be fun to have some lined papers in here. This is just another from an antique magazine. I found this lady in her bathrobe with the mirror fixing her hair, and I just thought she looked great with these ladies in their 90s. The cap is 69 cents, and this beautiful lingerie is $1.98. Look at the lace on there. Isn't it beautiful? I don't know if there's a date on this one, but it's from Bellas, Hess and Company, New York City. Some bathrobes over here. Some more of these great lined papers. The other side of that magazine page. The other side of that book page, the letterbox. Magazine. These lined papers were really fun. And then the back of the other book pages. This is an antique receipt that is from May of 1906 and has different items, including lima beans at 40 cents, $2 total, 5 at 40 cents. I'm not sure if that's 5 pounds or I'm not sure. But cool graphics on this. Isn't that cool? There's the back of the page. These two ladies look like they got diplomas. I think they're graduating. This is an embossed antique die cut that I glued onto here. And then this is another antique book page, Wayside Flowers. And it's got a beautiful, I thought it just kind of wayside flowers. I thought that went well with them. In the back there's a little poem about violets as well. Just tucks in there. Another piece of antique petticoat lace here. Makes the pocket. More lined papers. This is a table runner, vintage table runner, and I just made it into a little pocket here, a little envelope, so that you can tuck things in. And I tucked in a couple of journal cards that I made. I backed these with antique book pages. But I don't know how well you can see these ladies, but I just love the look of them. And then this is actually a copy of a page from an antique scrapbook. So I left it the way it was laid out and just made a journal card because I thought it looked really cool that way. It says, the greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather loved in spite of ourselves. And then this one is a very patriotic poem on it, and another group of people, some patriotic eagles, another little, this is, it was actually the back of this page in the collection that I purchased. So that goes tucked in nicely there. More lined papers. Plenty and plenty and plenty of space to write in this one. The rest of that receipt. And this last area is another file folder. This is a copy of an antique postcard. I embellished it a little bit with some antique die cuts. They're both embossed. Some more yellow roses to go with these. I just love the layout of this. And then the back of the file folder, I decoupaged a napkin, and so that gives it that beautiful background. And then this is another lady, and I made a journal card out of her. She's also on fabric, so I glued her to the card partially, so you could tuck something under here if you wanted to, but she can just either slide in or she can hang out. I kind of like her hiding. And Grandma here, I love the look of her. She's styling. I love her hat. I love her dress. I decoupaged some additional napkin here. This is the back of a advertisement in a magazine, actually for Tiffany's, and you'll see the other side of it. 5th Avenue and 37th Street in New York. This is the actual page from a opera, April 12th. I don't know what year, but it was in Cleveland, which is why I was so attracted to it. And it's from Ziegler's assistant general manager. Oh, I'm sorry, 1937. I forgot that was there. Someone signed their name on it, someone who owned it. Look at this lady. How awesome is she? Love the look of her. And then this is an antique book page. They were so fancy then. And then this lady is another one that I cut out from a photo and glued her down. She's also on fabric, so she's very sturdy. And then on the other side, I have these ladies who look like sisters to me. And then this book page, look at these girls in their fancy coats and hats. How pretty, and their muffs. And then here's some hats on the other side. Look at how cool are these hats for $2.98. Then you have this lady with her hat and her lace collar, just kind of glued down on the page here. more coffee dyed papers. This lady, she's just hanging out. Something to do, I guess. Look at these great papers. I love Renee's papers. Look at that. Beautiful. And then the other side of that magazine page with the hats, and then the other side with more coats. And so I got these pictures of two ladies in their coats, and I cut them out and I glued them side by side, and then made a little tuck spot for this cool lady. And all the, this was an original postcard, and all the handwriting is from the original postcard. So I just copied it, and it tucks right in there. It looks like she's peeking out from behind the one lady. I thought it was fun. And then this lady, this is an advertisement from an antique book for National City Bank in Cleveland, again Cleveland, from 1845. Specialized banking. So I like this lady with her little glasses. I thought that was a nice addition. And then I just have a calling card in here with a poppy on it. The name on the calling card is Jessie Warmer. I just stuck that in there. More from the May Company here, and this beautiful lady here. And then one of my ladies that I use frequently, I decorated her with some antique lace and some antique beading from an antique dress. And you see Tiffany and Company here, 1926. And just a little bit more of the decoupage with that napkin. Colors are so pretty. And then more of that decoupage, a little bit of lace on the tab. And then the back is another of the end papers, and this one is inscribed from Aunt Mabel in 1934 for Christmas. So that's our book, and it's about 160 pages, so it's chock full of great papers, and just a little bit of fun with the vintage ladies and all the great antique papers. I hope you love it like I do. Thank you.